All right,
And
and
we are live.
you know what, Deval? Actually, I'm
Yeah.
going to be quiet for the intro.
Is
I
it?
want you. I want you to do the intro because you know why? On last week's episode, folks,
Yeah.
Deval and Emmanuel they ran things, and I'm telling you, brother overload. No, it was no. That was so funny when you said brother overload. I was listening to it in the car, and I was
Yeah.
just cracking up all the way through, man. So it was a great episode.
Oh,
So
good.
you know what? I'm going to leave it up to your capable hands, Deval.
Oh my! I feel nervous now. I feel like I'm
But
being watched.
no way.
I'm being watched by my teacher.
Go for it, mate.
Okay, welcome to today's episode of the Flixters, and welcome back, teacher. Welcome back, teacher.
Cheers, man. Cheers.
Everyone, welcome to the show. This is the show where we get to talk about films, talk about anything on streaming, TV shows, anything to do with movies and TV, and you can join us on the ride. So in today's show, we're going to talk about a horror movie, talk about a bit of a naughty movie, and if we've got time, we're going to talk about a hidden gem movie, which I think you've all
Yeah,
got to see. And in between that, you're going to get a whole lot of madness as well. So
wicked.
here we go.
That is it, mate. Let's get
Yep.
into it. What we're doing first.
Yeah, first we got some shouts out. We got, do you know what? With the Flixters, we are you, you are we. You know, we're all
Mm,
together. You know, and we like to shout out anyone who listens to the show,
yeah.
and also, you know, they make a mention on social media. So I've got 3 shout outs today actually. First shout out is the 5F's Telegram channel. And they are a Telegram channel that focus on the 5F's of life. And I cheekily said a couple of weeks
Yeah,
ago, what's
I
the
read
5F's of
this.
life? And cheekily back, the 5F's Telegram channel said, the 5F's isn't about the Flixters. No, it's not. The 5F's, am I gonna remember it this time? 5F's is fun, family, finance, faith. I always forget
And,
one.
and football, wasn't it? Isn't it football?
No, not
No,
football.
it's not football.
Fun, family, finance, faith, and oh my gosh,
Oh, gosh.
and Flixters.
We got you. We got you. We got you.
You know what? Oh my gosh, I always forget one. I don't know. I'm gonna remember it during the show, and I'm gonna be like, oh,
Exactly.
that's gonna be
Oh,
it.
that's where it
Yeah,
is. We're
go check
dropping.
out the
Nah, that
episode.
was really good. I read the comment, and
Mm.
also when we were speaking about when you were speaking about the Flash.
Oh,
It
another
was
F.
there was
Okay.
another comment. Yeah, there was another comment about the Flash that they, the 5S. They said they totally agree with the comments about the Flash and
Okay, okay,
about
yeah.
the CGI and sort of stuff like that. So a
Mm,
lot of people are saying that, Deval. They agree with us.
definitely. Well, the box office doesn't lie, so
Oh man,
there you go. Next shout out goes to Vegas Chiz or Natasha. I'm saying it in the American accent, Natasha. No, not
Natasha.
how we say it. Tasha. You're right, Tasha. So yeah, Vegas Chiz. Go check out her page. She loves movies and she gave us lots of love on Facebook and
Yeah.
on Instagram as well. Bigging up the show, saying what she likes to watch. She's all about her movies. You know what, Vegas Chiz? Natasha, if you want to come on the show one day, let
Oh,
us know. We will gladly welcome you onto the show. So just reach out
absolutely.
and say when you're available, and we'll invite you. Bob's your uncle. That's it.
Yeah.
Next shout out goes to Zifa.
Yeah.
Zifa. So she watches a show every week, puts it on her
Yeah.
screen. She loves movies. She actually even gave us. She schooled us actually. She schooled us on last week's episode because we were talking about Indiana Jones and what's his name and all that.
And
And
the
she's
crystal skull. And she said about the crystal
yeah,
skull.
yeah, she's like she knows all Indy is her dude,
Mm.
as well as all other kinds of Marvel movies and so on. But yeah, you know what? We are always learning. We're not the gurus of movies.
No.
So if you know something, we will gladly like to know as well.
Yeah, and I
And
love that whole thing when she said about Henry, about the dad, and with the dog and everything like that. And
mm,
listen,
mm,
I love Indiana Jones
mm,
movies as well. And Devout and Emmanuel, they got into the movie, and 100% totally agree with what they said. And for me, it was a letdown. I was like, there was some just like for brief moments, I was thinking, okay, yeah, this is great, blah 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 blah. But
mm.
then the ending, oh gosh, man, Deval. I mean, you know it, you saw it, you were there. Like if we could time travel, we would just undo that whole thing, man. Like seriously, it was just like really poor. And they spent so the film cost apparently about 200 mil, and they spent about 100 to 150 mil on marketing. So,
Mate,
man,
they ain't gonna get they ain't getting that money back. It's gonna be a loss. It's gonna be a
that's a
loss.
loss, right? That is a
Trust
loss.
me. Blimmin' Henry Jr. isn't going to get that money
No, he's
back.
definitely not. So listen, thanks for the shout outs, folks. Keep it locked
Yeah.
with the Flixters, and we will shout you out again. Get in touch with us on well, there's going to be a new one, isn't there? Threads. We'll get onto Threads.
And
Shout us out.
TikTok.
We'll shout you out on
Mm.
Threads, TikTok, and you name it, we'll be there. All right, let's get into movie news, Deval. And I just wanted to mention this. So I was doing a bit of reading. So Alien, the Alien franchise. Okay, some people are a bit meh. Some people are really excited. Obviously, classic movies, the first one, second one, and then there was a bit of a dip, and then we had the reboots type of thing. There's a new director involved in this one called Fede Alvarez, kind of taking it back to its horror roots, Duval.
Yeah.
But I can't. I'm not one of those people now. We've been burnt, right? We've been burnt before with these things. We can't be like, oh yeah, this is going to be great. We'll have to just wait and see. But yeah, it's going back to its horror roots. But it's wrapped filming, so now post production, and maybe we're going to see it next year. I think.
Yeah, it's coming out next year, July 2024. And this Alvarez character, sorry, not character, director, they're a person. Do you know what? When you say going back to the roots, you're spot on because Alvarez directed 2013's Evil Dead. And that's
Yes.
taken an old franchise and still made it good. Evil Dead
Mm,
2013 was decent. Also, Don't Breathe, that's a good film as well.
I know, man. With
It's a good
the guy from
film.
Avatar.
Exactly. And they also directed 2022's Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which I haven't seen. But I
Mm,
mean, the first two films we mentioned are decent. So, I mean, it's a hope. It's a hope. It's a strong hope that this new Alien film could be good. Not great, but
mm,
good. And right
yeah.
now, I'll take good compared to what we've seen before.
Yeah, and remember they've got who I think it's Fox. Is it Fox? Who Disney have got Fox, haven't
Yeah,
they?
yeah, yeah.
So they have to keep that franchise going, like because they every few
Gosh.
years we've got to see something and new directors, fresh ideas. They've got to take it in new direction. So we'll see what happens. So
Ah,
keep a lot with the
Vasquez,
Flocksters.
let's rock.
Oh mate,
Other
that,
day, Aliens 2. I keep calling it Aliens 2. It's just Aliens. It came on telly, and I guarantee I stopped what I was doing. I was
you got to watch
oh,
it.
that. Do you know what? I'm gonna put out a survey on our
Oh,
TikToks, Instagram, whatever. And because I was thinking when I was sitting there thinking, I even said to my missus, I said to her, of the top 5 films that have ever been created, if I had to just choose 5
mm.
to watch again and again for the rest of my life,
Oh man,
Aliens would be one
it's
of them.
wicked.
I'm going to put that out there and ask everyone if you could watch
Do it.
5 films, only 5 films again and again, what would they be?
What would they be?
Got to be.
Oh,
It's
got
tough.
to
It's
be.
tough. It's tough.
You got to think about that one, folks.
Mm.
All right, listen. Look, talking about another movie franchise. Check this one out. This one's been kind of up in the air and coming and going. But Lethal Weapon 5 in
Mm.
development, still in development, was in development, whatever. We know that Richard Donner, he passed away a while ago, and we spoke about it on this show as well. He directed Superman and Hope. A lot of movies. Like great film director, and so we were thinking, okay, what's going to happen? I think Mel Gibson was kind of like, okay, he's going to take the mantle because he's directed before as well. But Deval, tell us about this.
Yeah, do you know what? This one here, I am scared. I'm scared for. I'm scared for. We've just seen Indiana Jones flop,
Oh,
basically.
trust me, I
And
know.
from what I've seen recently, it seems like Hollywood has no future, or the future they have, they're not allowing to fully, flourish. You've
They've
got
got no
great
ideas.
filmmakers and directors doing some really great art, but then because it's not fitting a certain mold,
Mm,
it's not really blowing up. But they're going back. They're going back. And
mm,
I mean, yes, Mel Gibson, I mean, come on, Mel Gibson, Danny Glover. Yeah, no disrespect to those guys, but I mean, come on, man. Lethal
I
Weapon
know.
5. Rene Russo is going to be involved as
Oh
well.
God.
Oh, man, I know it sounds like a cuss here, but this I expect to flop just like Indiana
Yeah,
Jones.
I
I,
know. I
I
know.
really do. I really do. I just,
When they did the test screenings, right? Because a lot of these big budget movies, they do test screenings and they do kind of like a feedback and things like that, right? When
yeah.
they did the Indiana Jones thing and did that whole segment, I'm like, what were these guys watching? I'm pretty sure they must have said, "Hey, we didn't get this whole kind of you going back in time." And now with Lethal Weapon 5, I mean, the audience, I don't know, man. When they do these test screenings and things like that, like how do they fit it into 2023 or 2024, whenever it is that it fits for our audience right now. I don't know. I mean, listen, there's still a lot of this nostalgia for those movies. Don't get me
Mm,
wrong,
mm.
but I don't know if it's enough.
Well, time will tell, and the box office won't lie.
Mm.
That's all I'm going to say. But
Yeah, we'll keep you
yeah,
posted on that one. All right, now this is interesting. So we're getting sneak peeks here and there. We know that
mm,
Deadpool 3 is in production. Ryan Reynolds, Hugh Jackman as Wolverine is coming back. We don't know which version of Wolverine it's going to be, but I'm assuming that, he Deadpool jumps into another universe and plucks him out or whatever. The director, James Mangold, funny enough, Deval, he directed Logan and
mm,
directed Indiana Jones. He wasn't happy. He wasn't happy about Hugh, or I wouldn't say unhappy, but he kind of had a few words to say about Hugh Jackman coming back as
mm.
Wolverine, and I
Okay.
think I got the gist of the thing was where he said, "Don't do it."
Oh, okay.
So for Hugh
Mm.
Jackman not to come back
Yeah,
because
yeah,
he left on such a high,
yeah, yeah. I understand. I can understand why he said that. Yeah,
and it's almost like as if
yeah,
like shit, we went on such a bang. Why do
yeah,
you want to mess it back up again now?
yeah. I can understand that. And do you know what? In some respects, I kind of felt the same because I know whatever we're gonna get is gonna just it's almost going to tarnish and rubbish the powerful ending that that Logan had to that chapter of what was it 17, 18 years of playing Wolverine for Hugh
Massive.
Jackman. But from what we've seen with the Deadpool 3 sort of news so far, there's been some on-set photos that have been released,
Mm.
and on those on-set photos we've seen uh, Deadpool sporting sort of a bit of a brighter red uh, costume or uniform. So I think it's not so dark and grungy and sort of homemade. It looks a bit more polished.
You're
I'm not
right.
sure which version of this version of Deadpool we're seeing, because in this movie, from what I understand, he's going in and out of time. I even hear that he might mix with the Time Variance Authority. What are they called
Oh,
again? TVA, Time
TVA.
Variance.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
That's it.
So I heard he might mix with them. We've also seen some stills of Hugh Jackman as Wolverine
Yeah.
in the yellow. See the '90s cartoon
Not yet.
Wolverine suit.
Call
But
back to the
some
90s. Yeah.
people are saying that's not really true. So far we've not seen too much, but what we have seen has been quite good, and it just
Mm.
gives us that. Oh, just saw some lightning! Wow. It just lets us know
Mm.
that Deadpool's coming out soon, which is going to be about a year and a half's time, November
Oh, so we still
2024.
got a while left yet then.
Some time, yeah. But also, apart from the set photos, oh, there we go. With lightning, by the way, do you know how you can measure how far away it is?
Is it?
Yeah, do you know there's a way of measuring how far away lightning
Is
is?
it the sound? No,
It's
is it now? Is it the distance between the first one and the second one? Like when you see it, the time distance time.
jackpot, exactly.
Is that what
Yeah,
it is?
that's exactly what it is. And do you know
So
why that is
that
as
one was
well?
2. No, I don't know. Tell me.
Yeah, because light travels at 186,000 miles per second, and obviously sound travels at way slower than that. So when you
Yeah,
see the light is it's almost instantaneously that energy travels to your eyes, but the sound
sound
is a
is
whole lot
delayed.
slower. That's why it goes, and then you wait a few seconds, and then you hear the rumble. When in actual fact, they both happened at the same time. Mad.
Wow.
It's mad.
Only on the Flixters, folks.
Hmm.
Science. There you go.
Exactly. Exactly.
So
But
what is it raining? Is it raining there now?
it's not raining yet, but
Oh, okay.
it's gonna rain in a second.
It's going to
But
rain.
yeah,
Wow.
so also what else brings thunder? Scarlet Witch. So
Oh,
nice little
that was a
smooth
nice little segment. That
transition.
was good, man.
Yeah, so Scarlet Witch is also rumored to appear in Deadpool 3. And we're gonna get
Right.
a version of the 838 Earth 838 Scarlet Witch,
So
which is
what Scarlet Witch Earth? What Earth are we on now anyway? What are we doing?
that's a good question. Well, it's meant to be 616. That's
Six
the
one
Earth.
six.
That's the Earth that the MCU was sort of, that's the default Earth.
Yeah.
But we don't know which Earth Deadpool's from. You see, so he might be from a
Ah.
different Earth, and we don't know what's going on. But it's going to be a madness. Doctor Strange is also rumored to be involved because he's been seen. He's said that he's filming for a Marvel project for next year,
Yes, I've
so
read
he
about
could
that.
be involved. So I
So we're going
mean,
to see him before we see him in another Doctor Strange film, and this could be
yeah.
this, whatever. So
Mm.
at the ending of WandaVision, she apparently died under the rubble, but this is then another version of Scarlet Witch.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're saying that this could be the conscious version. So like
Mm.
Well, I say conscious, that's confusing, but her consciousness may have, her body may have died, but her consciousness may have. See how we saw her? What's that thing that she done where she ghost walked or whatever it was?
Yeah, she could
She
go
can,
into it. She could go into
yes.
another Scarlet
They're
Witch. Yeah,
saying that that might have happened, so we might still get the original Scarlet Witch, but in another body. Do you know what? Anything can happen with the multiverse.
anything's
They
possible.
are they're all using it. I actually think they're overusing it. And I hope this is the last time we see multiverse
Mm,
because it's getting
mm.
too much
It's
now.
getting a lot,
Anything
mate.
goes.
You know what? I was reading about this and I had the same thoughts. I was like, it's hard to give up. But listen, we've still got Loki season 2, and that's going to be connected,
Mm,
and all that stuff's going to come up in there. So listen,
yeah.
folks, listen, keep it locked with the Flixers. We'll break everything down for you, everything to do with the MCU and time, universal times, and all that sort of stuff. Keep it locked with us, and before that though, let's get on to new and streaming. Now listen, Devour man, well, I want to speak about this. So this dropped, I think, what was it, last week or beginning of this week? I can't even remember.
Yeah.
This is on Apple Plus, right? This is
Yeah.
Idris Elba, and
Have you seen it though? Have you caught up with it?
I've caught up. So I've
Yeah,
seen they
yeah.
dropped the first 3 episodes, and you know what, right? I have to say, I was at first, I thought, what is this? This isn't going to be whatever. But oh my god! But listen, they spin things on its head. So like how you get like obviously a hijacking previously in Hollywood films or TV programs or whatever, you might get kind of like brown faces, like
Mm,
Arabic speaking people,
mm,
like
mm.
taking over the
Typical
plane.
terrorist. Yeah.
They have flipped the script where
Mm,
all of them are flipping Cockney, like, oi, mate, oi, you get back in the seat.
yeah.
Man, it's just so funny. And throw in Idris Elba, who I was thinking is some like, John McClane type of a thing. He's just a
Mm,
negotiator, a business
mm.
negotiator and everything like that. So it's kind of edge of your seat stuff. It's kind of a bit laughable, a bit funny, but there's moments in there where I'm like, shit, where's this going? Where are they taking this? And like, there's got this they're off in one place over there and enough, there's another place and everything like that. But yeah, it's all right. It's not bad.
Yeah, do you know what? I'm exactly with you. I thought it was going to be, oh, what's this kind of thing, and I was really surprised. I've been glued to it. The first episode
Mm,
got me, second, third. I'm
yeah,
waiting for the next, you know. And I must admit, this is a really good show. It's
it
a
is.
really. I thought it was a film, to be honest. At first, I thought it was a film. Then I realised it's a show, but I think it being a show gives it more time to marinate, and
Yeah.
decent. Yeah, it's
I,
decent.
I and I was like, I was really surprised about the whole thing. And then what happened
Mm,
was, so we put it on, and I was like, oh, let's watch this. And mate, we just went through the 3 episodes,
yeah.
and I was like, oh
Now
man,
you've
where's
got
the next
more.
one? Oh,
Exactly.
give it! I want it now. So we got to wait until
Exactly.
the 12th of July
Yeah.
for the next one. So go check that out, folks. That's on Apple Plus. That's called
Yeah.
Hijack, starring Idris Elba, a whole host of kind of British,
Yeah, Neil Maskell,
British
he's a
stars.
gangster British actor. He's been around
Oh
for ages,
man,
but he's good. Neil Maskell's good. He's
yes.
in it as well. So yeah.
Yeah, it's good. I'm really surprised about that one. So I think Apple Plus, you know what, they're on to winner. It's not on our list, but I also watched
Mm,
Silo, which I really liked as well. I ended up
yeah.
finishing all that. So Apple Plus are really kind of they're doing
Mm,
well, man. They're doing all
mm,
right.
mm,
All right, now let's go on to Disney Plus. So I'm caught up with this one, Deval, and you know what? It's a slow. It's kind of this bit of a slow burner,
mm,
Secret Invasion,
yeah.
and the second episode I liked because there's this one scene between Rhodey and Nick Fury. They're in some sort of cafe,
Mm,
really kind of like a nice little bit, and they're going off at each other, and Nick Fury's asking, Rhodes for help, and Rhodey's saying, "I'm not going to help you," and there's this kind of like really good tension between those two people.
mm.
And there's a line there where he's like, "Aren't you going to help a brother out?" And he's like, and I
Yeah.
was just like, "It's wicked." And he's like, "No," he goes, "I'm not." He goes, I'm not going to help." Like, idiot, especially like, I'm not going to help. Like, even if you are a brother, I'm basically not
Mm,
going to help you out.
mm,
I thought that was really good. There's really some standout moments between Talos and Nick Fury. They're like a bickering old couple. They're like,
yeah.
they're just like so funny.
They're like
But
Lethal Weapon.
exactly, they are. They're like Lethal Weapon.
Yeah.
But where do you think this is going, Deval? A lot of people are saying Rhodey is a Skrull in disguise.
Mm.
There's hints there and there with the pen. A lot of people are saying with the pen shuffling. Um,
They're giving us clues.
they're dropping clues.
Ah.
and they're saying that it'll all be revealed and stuff. So there's all these little things in there, and yeah. Where do you think this is heading?
Mm. I think we're going to see some skull human hybrid kids
Groot.
with
Did you see the thing with Groot?
nah. What thing with Groot?
So when she's looking on the computer, what's her name? Target Daenerys.
Yeah.
She's looking at the computer. So they want to basically mix the Skrull blood with
Oh,
other,
yeah, yeah.
and they've got
Oh,
Groot blood.
that's where in the trailer he goes like that. There's a trailer where he goes like that and his
Yes,
arm stretches. Oh,
yes.
I missed it.
It's Groot blood. So basically,
I
they're trying to make
missed
the
it.
super.
Oh,
They're like
Super Scroll. He actually says
super
in the
Skrull.
episode we're going to be Super
Yes, we're
Scrolls.
Group Skrulls.
Because in the comics, I think Super Scroll has a
It is
combination
a
of
thing.
Fantastic Four's powers. All the Fantastic
That's
Four's powers. Yeah,
it.
so that's the history in the comics, or one of the Super Scrolls anyway. But yeah, so they okay. I didn't see. Oh, that makes sense. Ah,
Yeah. So, and then I really
okay.
like the scene between Talos and Gravak when they're in
Mm,
the kind of museum coffee place, and yeah, I thought, what, he's a really convincing kind of villain, and
mm,
I hope you want someone to be a bit psycho, and you want someone to kind
yeah,
of. He wants to get rid of the human race, but yeah,
yeah,
man, it's interesting. It's interesting. I,
yeah.
I I can't say for sure if it's a Stone Cold classic.
Not sure yet. Yeah, same. A lot of it was filmed in the UK as well, so some of the
Mm,
buildings are recognizable. I think even
yeah,
Emmanuel's mentioned that
Manuel's mentioned it
one
a
of the
few times.
buildings in episode 2 was the same building that was used in the Flash, because the
Yeah.
Flash, some of it was filmed in the UK as well. They get a
Mm.
lot of tax relief for filming in the UK, so that's probably why. But yeah, I think I'm going to stick with it. But I'm not. My expectations with Marvel now are kind of
Mm.
low, so I'll enjoy it. That's it, really.
Yeah, we'll listen. Look, we'll see what it sets up.
Yeah.
And it was interesting when Nick Fury said, "No, we're not going to bring in the Avengers."
Mm.
There's a bit in there where he says, "We're not going to bring in the Avengers because imagine if those guys get cloned."
Yeah.
So
It's
then we're
expensive,
like,
really. That's why.
exactly. All right, listen, let's move on to trailers, and we've got a nasty one for you. So this kind of fits in with the movie that we're going to be speaking about in Anniversary Corner,
Mm,
and then for the main movie. But yeah, this is The Nun Part 2. So Deval and I, we reviewed The Nun a while ago, kind of,
yeah.
a movie that's part of the whole Conjuring universe. And man, listen, when you see The Nun and you see her face, I mean, it's just got creep vibes all over it. I wasn't too. What did we? I can't really remember what we said exactly about the Nun, the first one. What did we say? We weren't. It wasn't a classic, was it?
We weren't overly enjoyed by it. I think we were a bit let down by it. It was a bit
Mm.
underwhelming. I think at the time we said, "Oh, we're having none of it."
That's
So I
it.
think that was
Yes.
maybe one of the other sentiment that we went away with.
Yeah, that's so true. That is so true. But listen, look, there's obviously going to be a bit of a scare factor in this one. The creepy nun, she's in it.
Mm.
Where is it set? In Ireland or something? It's set in
This one
Ireland,
looks
isn't
like
it?
it is set in Ireland. Yeah, it looks like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's got the
So
same actor. It's got the same actress from the first one.
yeah, Tiza or Thaisa Farmiga.
Mm.
She's the sister of Vera Farmiga, who was in The Conjuring.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. All right,
Also, Storm
yeah,
Reed is in this as well. Storm Reed is
yeah.
in this. So yeah, it looks interesting. I'm definitely going to see it. James Wan
Oh, we'll
produced
watch
it as
it.
well. So it's out in September. So not too
Yeah,
long.
this one's out in September. Go if you haven't seen that, go check it out. And if you do see it, let us know on
Mm,
Instagram, whatever. And like I said before, it leaves us nicely into Anniversary Corner. So this is Insidious Chapter 2 from 10 years ago. So I always, the mind boggles when I think about how many movies there are in the whole kind of Insidious universe and stuff, and they take the movie forward, then they go back, and then they kind
mm.
of do reboots and things like that. But this is part 2, chapter 2 from 10 years ago, 2013. And Deval, remind us again about this.
Yeah. So this is just I guess another one of those Insidious. There's 5 of them
Mm.
now so far.
Wow.
So yeah, Insidious I think is the one. What's the story again? The story is that I always get, I always get Insidious and Sinister mixed up. Do you know why? Because haven't they got the same
Same
same guy
actor.
in it?
Oh my god.
Sinister is the one where he moves into the house where the serial killer had killed people or something, isn't it?
Yep,
Yeah, but
that was
Insidious is
it.
more. Yeah, Insidious is more to do with just spirits and demons that are trapped in different
Yeah.
realms and want to come through
And it's got
and
Patrick Wilson in this. So
yeah,
and
yeah,
he's from Conjuring.
yeah.
Sorry, the Nun. or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so Patrick Wilson stars in this. Rose Byrne as well stars in this.
Mm.
In this chapter two. Chapter two, the kids are involved quite a lot as well, and the kids are. And in this one, I think Patrick Wilson actually gets he gets possessed and tries to kill the family.
My
But
God.
what's actually funny about this one as well, not funny but interesting, Ty Simpkins is in this as a young boy. Now Ty Simpkins is the lead in the Red Door that we're gonna. So
Oh,
he actually does grow up in real life, like naturally to be.
yeah.
So in this one he's a boy,
So
and then
10 years later.
exactly. So it's good to. I thought it was a different actor.
Oh,
It's the
that's
same
good.
actor.
Yeah.
It's the same actor. So it's good. But yeah, chapter two is decent. It's not great. 6.5 on IMDb, which is above average
Mm.
for horror. So take it that it's a good, decent film.
Yeah.
But yeah, give it a watch. If you're gonna watch chapter five, I do recommend you watch the rest of them first.
Yeah.
Even part four as well, just so you can understand a lot of the things that happen in chapter five, because they do refer to it. But yeah, we'll talk
Yeah,
about that in a
and
second.
and these
Yeah.
ones, and you can get them on Netflix. I know some of those ones are on Netflix, but I was just having a look at the wiki page from this one. The budget for chapter two, which you just spoke about, was
Mm.
5 million,
Are you
and it took
serious?
5 million, and it took 160 at the
Come
box
on,
office.
man. Are you
What? And
serious?
that's
5 million?
that's why these movies do. That's why we have so many, because they do really good business.
Are you serious?
Directed by James Wan Deval.
Oh yeah. I'm just looking at the. No, this is crazy.
And hang on a second, remind me
No,
again, Lee Wanell. What did Lee Wanell do? He did something with the Saw in it, isn't it? He's
he's a
related to
writer.
Saw.
Yeah, he him and James Wan, they brought out Saw and the whole Saw universe and whatever, and also Lee Winnell's a writer for Insidious as well. He actually showed up in Insidious 5, which I'll talk about. I
Mm,
just saw a quick clip of Insidious Chapter 2, and there's a scene where Patrick Wilson tucks the little boy into bed, kisses him on the forehead, and then
oh
this
God.
boy watching him in part 5 as a big boy, as a man, it's mad.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's mad. It's madness.
Oh my gosh.
So good casting call there with the filmmakers and directors
Yeah.
and everything.
Yeah.
So that leads us nicely into the film review. So Deval, he went out and he watched this. So continuing on the story from 10 years ago to now, 2023, this is Insidious, The Red Door. Sounds pretty ominous, but yeah, Deval, so take it away, man.
Yeah, so Insidious The Red Door, like I said, it does all link up. So it's really worth watching the other Insidious films. But Insidious The Red Door, the story in a nutshell is basically about Patrick Wilson, he's the dad, Rose Byrne's the mum, and they've got kids, including Ty Simkis. Simkis is now grown up, he's going to university. So I don't know what age that will make him, but he's
Mm,
grown up, and he's starting out in university. He's quite how can I describe him? He's not very socially mobile because of the upbringing he's had with the
yeah.
ghouls and the ghosts and being possessed and all
Oh,
sorts, which you'll see
shit.
in the other films.
Yeah.
He goes to university. Actually, the mum and dad are separated by now. They've divorced.
Oh, okay.
So the kids
Yeah.
are living with their mum, and his type sync because he's gone to university, so the dad's a bit in limbo. There's a bit of friction between the mum and dad, and also there's the son as well. He's got a bit of friction with all of them.
Mm,
But he goes to university. He's not really fitting in well. His roommate is this girl who is a bit of a rebel, and she likes people that are a bit weird. So it's
okay.
kind of he's in the right place basically
Yeah.
without even
He
knowing it.
fits in. Yeah.
Yeah, and then bit by bit now, so he's an art student. So his art teacher is a very very tough old school teacher, and she doesn't take any nonsense. She says to them, "You have to paint your heart. If it's not your heart, forget it. Leave the class. And when you paint, don't be afraid to let your darkness come out." So
Oh
there you now you know
gosh.
what kind of stuff he's going to paint.
Yeah. What and what's
Yeah,
going to come out? Yeah.
exactly. One of the first things he paints is a red door. This red
Okay.
door, because she says to the whole class, just close your eyes and let your your emotions come out. And he closes his eyes, and from doing that, he goes back to his days when he actually was possessed and when he went through all
Yeah.
this insidious shit. And
Yeah.
it came, we came to understand that for a year he forgot what happened for a year, and that
Right.
was a period when he got possessed and all kinds of shit. So they said he was in a coma, but he wasn't. So he
He
went
wasn't
back
right.
and he remembered some shit. He drew a red door that red door was like all bloody and dark, had some figures on it, and from that, shit starts to go weird. And
Oh.
when he's in his his flat share, he starts to astral project where he's laying there and he comes out of his body and he can go to the next room, and he goes to the other room, and his housemate or roommate, he wakes her up, and she comes back and says, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "Oh, you're not going to believe me if I told you." He tells her, and she
Yeah.
believes him because she likes weird, and then they kind of roll together. But
Yeah.
so they roll together and they start finding out that certain people have died, and he realizes that the red door that he drew is something that he needs to deal with, because this red door
Mm.
can help him move on. And some of
Right,
the
right, right. So
spirits,
so it's not a doorway to hell, is it?
it still is, yeah, but he's still got to deal with
Okay.
it.
All right. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so some of the spirits that he deals with, he comes in contact with as he's astral projecting, tells him, close the door, close the door. So he says, "Oh, I've got to deal with it." And she says, "No." You know, she's a sister as well. She's like, "Nope, I don't want anything to do with this. I don't." But then she does.
Nope.
It's funny, but then she
Yeah,
does. She's actually quite good.
yeah,
She's a good friend, actually. If you see what she
yeah.
does,
She
if you
sticks by
see,
him. Yeah.
yeah, like, I'm thinking, shit, I would have been gone. But she's sticking there, and soon enough, she starts to see stuff. Like the first time
Yeah.
the astral projects, yeah, she supports him, and she's there, like sitting with him as he's lying on the floor, like just astral projecting. And then
Like Doctor Strange.
yeah, while he's out, this demon comes and
Oh
strangles her. She can't
God.
see it, but she's getting strangled. Luckily, someone else comes in, gives her the chest pump, brings her back, and she's shitting herself.
She
But then
still
after that, she still
she still
supports him.
stays with him.
But yeah,
Yeah.
so the film, you know what? The film goes through a bit of that college life, and you don't really get to see a lot of
Mm.
the mum in this, to be honest. The dad, he has a few incidents with some ghouls and ghosts, and he realizes
Yeah.
his past is also connected to this red door, and it's a bit mad.
So they're still chasing the family then. Like
Yes,
the
there's still a
evil is still
link.
chasing them.
It's more the dad. The dad is the one that we find out is more the link, not the mum. So the
Oh,
dad and the son. So it's come through that kind of bloodline.
yeah.
So the son's got the powers of astral projection and all that kind of shit. The dad's also got it to an extent. He's trying to find out from doctors what's going on. There's a really scary scene where he goes into that tube you go into to get a scan.
Yes, the CAT scan.
MRI CAT scan. Yeah, he does.
MRI, yeah, MRI or CAT scan. Yeah,
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 so
yeah,
he goes into that, and you know that's meant to be quite. So it's quite noisy. So
yeah.
they say to him, "Oh, here's the headphones, and just rest." As he's in there, it goes dark, and he starts to see something, and
Oh
then
gosh.
the darkness turns into a shadow, and then while he's in there, it's claustrophobic. While he's in there, this monster kind of comes to him like that,
Oh,
like
that
really
is
fast. Honestly, it does that really fast, and that made me jump. I'm there sitting by myself in the cinema, and there's these girls sitting behind me, and I just jumped and I looked. Did they see me? It's
that's
mad.
classic.
But yeah,
That's classic.
that was one of the best jump scenes
Okay.
in the film. There was a few others, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, the film wasn't great. To be honest, I think it was one of the weaker
Okay.
ones. I think probably
Okay.
part two was one of the best, but it wasn't. I mean, what I've just described to you is a lot of what happens in the film. A lot of it's on campus, and you know, he
Yeah.
goes to the red door. He deals with what he's got to deal with. The monsters there, and it's kind of easy the way to deal with it.
All right. Okay.
You know,
So is there? So does it? But the way it's left, does that mean that there is going to be another one after it?
there was a post-credit sound which tells you, yeah, probably there might be.
Okay. It's funny
If the
because
box
whilst
office
you were
does well,
talking,
yeah.
yeah, because look, while you were talking, I just had a quick look. The budget on this one, though, Deval,
Mm.
is 16 million. So they've
One
pumped up
six
1.6.
16.
So
Okay.
they've pumped up the budget.
Mm.
But Patrick
Also,
Wilson
fingers
is the
crossed.
film director.
Is it? I didn't
Yeah,
know
it's
that.
directed by Patrick Wilson.
Ah,
Um,
okay. Maybe that's why we don't see him so much in this.
yeah,
Okay.
and but like I kind of said before, a lot of these
Mm.
movies they kind of like lower on the low end in the budget, right?
Yeah.
Obviously they don't compete with kind of the big studio
Mm.
ones, but they still rake in the money. People will still go out and watch this, right?
You are so right. And something about horror has a pull,
Mm,
has an attraction. People want to be scared. It's like a roller coaster
yeah.
ride. You don't want it, but you want it. And horror, if it's done well,
Well,
if it's done well, look at Blair Witch Project. Look at
uh,
the first. what's that first what's that film? The one with the camera and it made mad millions over like a small budget.
Blair Witch.
No, Paranormal Activity. That's it. Yeah,
Oh, Paranormal. Yeah, yeah,
both of
yeah, yeah,
them were
yeah.
so cheap to make,
Ahead
and
of
they
the
made
time. Yeah, yeah,
mad.
exactly. Yeah.
So if you do a horror film right, like you say, special effects is not the most important thing. You
No.
can make mad money.
And that's why
Mad
they
money.
like. I mean, 16 million for
Yeah,
like a
that's
Hollywood
yeah,
movie, like a cinema movie,
yeah.
man. That's
And that's
mad.
probably because things
Um,
cost a lot more now. But like, cost of cost of resources are more expensive. I'm
yeah,
sure
and
10 years
maybe
ago it would have been
maybe
half of that. Sorry.
maybe 10 years ago it was the
Mm.
5 million, and now look at what that 5 million costs now. So yeah, folks. So go out there. I mean, go check it out. Like
Yeah,
definitely, like what Deval was saying. Go watch the chapter 2 because this is connected to that one, right? But not the
yeah.
third one.
The third
Chapter 3 is
one,
not connected to this.
I can't remember. I can't remember. I know
Okay,
the fourth one's a bit of a different kind of situation, but yeah, I can't
right.
remember to be honest.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
Mm.
Well, there you have it, folks. That is, your horror movie of the week. And listen, if you want something a bit lighter, there is a movie that you could go out and watch another one. So Deval and I, we went out. Actually, Deval saw this. Oh, you saw this a while ago, didn't you?
Yeah, about 2 months ago or something like that.
Yeah, so you saw
Mm.
this a while ago, and this came out recently, about 3 or 4 weeks ago over here. So we went out and watched this, and it was so funny because when this came out, I was like, okay, so this is Jennifer Lawrence, and then I thought to myself, hang on a second, I can't even remember the last time I saw a Jennifer Lawrence movie. Did
Yeah,
she took a break from filmmaking or something?
I think so. But yeah, she hasn't done anything in a little while. I think just to sort of step away from
Mm.
the limelight.
Yeah, and in this, she plays. I can't even remember what her name is, character name in this, but she plays a kind of a 30-something she's an Uber driver. She's lost her
Mm.
car, and she's an Uber driver who doesn't have a car. So that basically sums up her life. She's in debt. She wants to keep the house. She needs to save up money, and she's basically kind of down on her luck, and she's not really doing much. But she's a good person at heart. There's a ad in a local Craigslist or whatever, family. They want to hire someone who will take out and date their son, who's a bit of a nerd. He's basically secluded. He doesn't have that many friends,
Mm.
and he needs to basically open up a bit according to the parents and everything. So she answers the ad, and what's in it for her is a car, not a brand new car. It's just an old Oldsmobile. It's just like some
Mm.
old car, but it gives her the chance to get back at being an Uber driver, and then she can go off and earn some money. And then in that, not only does the kid kind of open up and the kid starts to become a kid, but also she grows up type of a thing. So it's this really kind of this coming of age type of a story where a 30 something who's acts more like a kid, and
Mm.
then about this kid who acts more like an adult, they kind of meet somewhere in the middle. And it was it was funny. It's a lot of people are calling it raunchy.
Mm.
There's a scene in there
The beach scene,
where
yeah.
the beat scene devout, and I thought this was CGI.
No, it's her.
No,
Yeah.
it's her.
Mm.
Man, that is her stalkers. So you are seeing full frontal nudity. Everything's out there. Jennifer Lawrence is basically, she
Mm.
basically turned around and said, "I don't give a shit. I want to do this scene. I want to get on
It's
there.
admirable though, because many people wouldn't do that. And as an actress or actor,
Trust me."
like I guess you are the blank canvas, and you do what is needed for the role, and that's what she
Hmm.
done. So yeah, respect to her.
Yeah, it was good. I thought it was kind of like really funny. There was like some
Mm.
really funny bits in there. The way that she acts and the way that she's trying to seduce him, that he's
Yeah,
not interested in that
yeah,
whole thing. And,
yeah,
and in the end they have this great little friendship.
yeah,
So I think it's R-rated.
yeah.
And if I'm not mistaken, it's done really well at the box office.
I'm not sure what's done at the box office. I mean, when I saw it, it was released about a month later, so I don't think much
Mm,
has changed from the version I saw. But yeah, I agree. It was an interesting comedy. It had
yeah,
some really good moments in it. I don't think it was as funny as I thought it would be, but it was funny enough, especially the beach
yeah.
scene and stuff like that. There's a really touching scene in a restaurant where they dress up. I think it's like prom night or something like
Prom
that,
night or something. Yeah,
and he takes her to the prom, but they go to a restaurant to eat, a nice swanky place, and he's been practicing a song on the piano that he sings to her, and it's really actually quite touching. He sings,
yeah.
it's an old school song, but he sings it in a different way,
Yeah,
and
Man Eater. Do you remember it? Do you remember that
that's
song
it,
from
Man
Man Eater?
Eater.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, and he
yeah,
sings it, and everyone stops, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, that's really nice." And they have a good moment there. And then there's a few bits where, because he's now with her, it's like the it crowd want to be with him now, or they kind of they
yeah,
see him before he wasn't
yeah.
seen, but they see him now, and he's like he now wants to hang out with them a bit as well. So, but
Mm.
it's weird because even though this is what he wants, every dude wants like a blonde bombshell,
Oh,
especially like
yeah, man.
a high school dude,
Yeah,
but it's not as easy as you think. It's like because she jumps onto him, he's a bit defensive sometimes.
yeah.
So it's an interesting dynamic. But also, one thing I would just want to quickly say is this could never happen the other way.
Oh,
This could never, you'll never have, and never be allowed to have,
yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
a man who's 29, 30 years old. I think she's about
Yeah,
29 in this, 29 years
yeah.
old, come to a family and say, I
Like,
want to date your daughter to show her the ropes,
oh,
and
mate,
you're
it was
going to
just
pay me to do it.
impossible.
I mean,
I
it's
know it
never
just would
gonna
not
happen.
happen. It would just would not happen.
Never.
I,
So
you know
technically,
what?
it
A lot of
shouldn't happen the
people,
other way.
it
Technically, it
should.
shouldn't.
You know what? Because
Technically,
some
it shouldn't
people,
happen the other way.
the, the mixed reviews that I've read, they're like, how can this story even be a story? Because it just doesn't fit in with today's society. Like, so there's that side of it. There
Mm.
is 100%. I totally agree with you. There's that side of it. But if you go into it thinking, oh, like if you want this coming of age story where this
Yeah,
kind of
yeah, yeah,
where two people they connect, he
yeah,
she could be 30 years old and he's 18 or
yeah,
20, whatever it is, and they kind of connect.
yeah,
And you know yeah,
yeah.
in that
And
regards,
he
it's
learns.
fun, it's decent.
He
you
does
know
learn, and he does grow. I know he wanted to grow a different way, but he grows another way in
it
this,
goes
and
another way,
she
exactly.
helped him do it. So in a way, but we don't want to spoil it. But yeah, you'll see how the benefit happens. But it's it's
Yeah,
it's a film, I guess. It's not really there to make any sort of
yeah.
political
And you know what?
statements.
But also, by the end of the movie, I also had this thing, Deval, and maybe it's
Mm.
just me, and maybe it's just the way that we live now. But I just thought that's just some white shit going on. That's some white people shit going on, man. I was just like, what
That
is this
will
like?
never happen.
How many other families
No,
would this ever happen to? It just wouldn't
never,
happen, mate. It just wouldn't happen. So
never,
in the back of my mind, I was like, would this really, really happen? Like, maybe
never.
it does. I don't know.
Nah,
But
no chance. Mm-mm.
100% some
Could only
some
happen in a
white
in a, in
family
a
shit
in
going
a
on over
Hollywood
there.
movie that has no. Nah, it couldn't happen. No chance. No chance.
So listen, folks, go check that one out.
Yeah.
No hard feelings. If you want something a bit lighter and something on a Friday night. Now, Devat, have we got time for
Yeah, I think
hidden
so.
gems?
Just real
Do
quickly, I
it.
think this one. I don't know if I think Emmanuel might have mentioned this before to say it came on,
Mm,
but you know what? This film, The Covenant, it's called Guy Ritchie's The Covenant because there's other
yeah.
Covenants out there that are horror films and whatever. The Covenant is not a unique name, so it's
Mm,
Guy Ritchie's The Covenant. And yes, this is the same Guy Ritchie Snatch, uh, you know, uh,
yeah.
uh, what's it called? Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels,
Lock,
all of
stock.
that.
Yeah.
The Gentleman is that same Guy Ritchie, but this Covenant film is on Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
You don't have to leave your house to watch it. This is a gangster
Is
film.
it?
When I say
Wow.
this, me and the missus watched it, and a lot of the things I watch, she doesn't like. This, she sat there,
Me too. Me
she
too,
put her
man.
phone down and watched this film to the end.
Okay.
That tells you
That's good.
it's a
That
good
tells you
film. Yeah,
exactly.
this film here, it is a war film. When is it set? It's set in 2018. It
Right.
stars Jake Gyllenhaal, Dar
Mm.
Salim, who we've seen in Game of Thrones. He was part of the Dothraki in Game of Thrones. You'll recognize his face.
Yes.
Anthony
Yes.
Starr, otherwise known as the Homelander.
Oh
Uh,
my God, he's in it.
yep, Emily Beecham, Alexander Ludwig, and a few other people. But this
Mm.
film is mainly Jake Gyllenhaal and Dar Salim. Jake Gyllenhaal's a captain in the US Army. They're in Afghanistan, 2017, 2018. So a lot has been said and done. It's kind of like the
Yeah.
latter stages of the I've got to say occupation.
Yeah.
And Dar Salim is an interpreter or translator working with the American forces. And oh man, so Jake
Yeah.
Gyllenhaal's character, he's very confident. He's a very You know, he's a captain. His unit is very successful. They go and do their mission, stuff like that. Early in the film, you see something happen that changes the makeup of his team. Jake
Right.
Gyllenhaal. Something happens early on. I'm not going to spoil it, and he needs a new interpreter. Dar Salim is recommended to him, and Dar Salim comes on. He's a good interpreter. He's fit, but he's very, very. He's a maverick. He can go
Right.
rogue. He can interpret something, but if he feels one course of action is better, then he'll do that. He
Then he'll
doesn't
do that.
always
Right.
stick to the
Okay.
script. Yeah, and it pisses
Yeah.
Jake Gyllenhaal all off a couple of times, and they have friction. But you can see Dar Salim, he ain't no fool. You know,
Yeah.
he's not no fool as well. But
Mm.
he's working with the American people, and Jake Gyllenhaal says to him, "Why are you working with us? I need the money." Simple. Not because
Simple.
I believe in it, none
Yeah.
of that. I need
Yeah.
the money.
Exactly.
Good money. That's it.
Yeah.
He's a man of honor. If he says something, he'll do it. Do you know what I mean? So
Mm.
the film goes on. A few things happen. I'm not going to spoil it again. A few things happen, and it proves again that Dar Salim's character, his name's Ahmed, uh,
Mm.
is a bit rogue. He doesn't listen,
Mm.
but he does the job, but he doesn't listen.
Right.
You know what I
Right.
mean? So
Yeah.
the end goal
And
is
that
met.
gets him into trouble, does it?
Gets him into trouble with Jake Gyllenhaal, but then something happens that again, Mr. Rogue does his thing, but then Jake Gyllenhaal realizes, oh shit, yeah, he's a bit mad and he does his own thing, but damn, he's good
He's
and he
good.
just helped us
Right.
out here, and then
Yeah.
the trust starts to build a bit more.
Right. 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 Right.
A
Right.
few things, another thing happens. I really don't want to spoil it, by the way. This is a hidden gem you got to watch.
Yeah. I'm not. I'm watching it. I'm watching it.
Something else happens, and the film whoop turns on its head.
Is it?
Film turns on its head, and it takes you on a journey that is gangster. And then you see
Oh.
just how gangster certain characters are. I'm not going to spoil it. Certain
Okay.
characters are
I love
gangster.
it.
This is
I
not
love it.
no slick Guy Ritchie sort of Cockney. This
Because
one
that's what he's
liners.
known for, right?
Nah,
That's
nah,
and you
nah.
see that in
This
his movies.
actually, it's so funny. Of all the films that Guy Ritchie has done, has
This
he
is
ever put
probably
his name on his films?
no,
And this
no. This
film
is
that he's
weird.
put his
Yeah.
name on isn't even a Guy Ritchie film. Doesn't
Uh,
look or sound like a Guy Ritchie film. This looks like this could have been done by the guy that directed Blimmin' the Bourne Ultimatum, Paul Greengrass, whatever.
yeah. Yeah. Paul Green.
It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it's an
Totally.
action film that is hard hitting. There's no joking around in this film. Bullets are flying. You're in Afghanistan. The Taliban are this. They're not ramping. It's not a joke. This film is good. It's a
Yeah.
good film. That's why I had to mention it.
Okay.
You got to
Yeah.
watch it.
No, mate. I'm watching it,
That's
and you
why
know
I'm not
what? And
spoiling
just
it. I'm not spoiling it.
yeah. So you said it's on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, it's on there. Go watch it.
Okay. Well, there you go. There
Go
you go,
watch it.
folks. You've heard it. Watch it. That's a hidden gem for you. And if you've got your Amazon Prime, stop all the spending on Amazon Prime Day and just watch this one because I am. I'm going to put it on tonight, actually.
On.
Yeah. All right. Well, listen, look, that is the end of the show, Deval. Thank you so much for that.
Yep.
We've got another big episode coming on next week's show. We've got Mission Impossible number 8 to review. There's kind of new episodes of Secret Invasion, Hijack. There's kind of lots of other stuff. There's some documentaries out on Netflix that I want to have a look at. And yeah, so we're going to be there. We're going to be bringing you. And isn't there another big... There's another big Hollywood film coming out.
Oppenheimer, week after, I think it is. Yeah,
There you go.
Oppenheimer.
Oppenheimer. We have to watch that, and we
Mhm.
are going to watch that, and we'll definitely bring the review. So listen, folks, thanks for joining us on this one. We'll see you on the next episode, and